PEPE, Price Prediction 2025. Are you missing the chance at 1 cent? Have you ever wondered if PEPE can really reach that magical 1 cent? In this video, I'll show you data, scenarios, and risks that no one else is honestly talking about. So, if you're holding PEPE or thinking about getting in, this knowledge is crucial because it could mean the difference between a dream and a nightmare. Be sure to stay tuned until the end because you'll learn a number that could truly be decisive for PEPE's future. Welcome to 10x Crypto, your channel for honest data-driven altcoin analysis. My name is Marius and my background is actually in quality management. There I learned that decisions should never be based on gut feeling alone, but always on clear data. That's exactly why my passion and my 10 times formula were born. With my exclusive formula, I analyze altcoins based on 20 key metrics. I rate each one from 0 to 10. In the end, you'll get a clear result in percent, 4 different price scenarios, and the Vision 2030. What could still happen with the price by 2030? At the end, you'll also get a chart analysis, and I'll show you what I would do right now. Buy, sell, or wait. My goal is simple, to give you clarity in a market full of hype. So if you're looking for data-driven altcoin analyses and want to know which altcoins really have massive potential, then subscribe to my channel now. Here you make decisions based on facts, not hype. But attention, a disclaimer. My channel is not financial advice, but purely informational. Have you ever wondered, has the potential to rise into the top 10 of all cryptocurrencies? PEPE started out as pure fun in 2023, but now has a market capitalization of $4 billion. But that's exactly what makes it so exciting. Is it just hype, or is there more to it? I'm going to show you data, facts, and risks that no one else talks about. But first, what actually is PEPE? PEPE is a deflationary meme coin on Ethereum. It was launched in April 2023 as a tribute to the legendary Pepe the Frog as a meme. Unlike many altcoins, PEPE doesn't have complex utility or a technical roadmap. Its value mainly comes from the community, meme culture, and its scarcity. Almost 100% of all tokens are already in circulation. No hidden inflation, no hidden unlocks, no risk of token dumps. For investors, this of course means maximum transparency in the tokenomics. But how does PEPE actually work on a technical level? In the end, it's an ERC20 token on Ethereum, so it benefits from the security and energy efficiency of Ethereum as a proof-of-stake network. Thanks to its built-in burn mechanism, the supply has become increasingly scarce over time. This makes PEPE deflationary. The longer it is traded, the scarcer it becomes. Simply put, the more activity there is, the lower the supply becomes. The meme coin sector is no longer a niche market. It's now worth over $50 billion. Dogecoin has 15 billion, Shiba Inu 12 billion, and PEPE is currently at around 4 billion. This shows that it still has massive catch-up potential here, especially if meme culture goes wild again in the next bull run. On top of that, PEPE already has almost 500,000 holders. The size of the community is such that it can even keep up with the major Layer 1 projects. Communities, especially in the meme coin sector, are of course a crucial driver of growth. But be careful, PEPE doesn't solve any technical problem like scaling or DeFi innovation. The investment is based solely on hype, the community, and market psychology. That means if the meme wave dies down, the price can also crash massively again. On top of that, the top 100 holders own over 70% of the tokens. So that's a whale risk. So don't just bet on hype, but rely on my clear data-driven analysis because now I'll show you how PEPE could theoretically even reach that 1 cent mark in my detailed analysis. But before we get started, go grab yourself a coffee as always and leave a like for me. And if you want to support me and appreciate these kinds of analyses, then become a 10x supporter. That helps me out a lot. Just click on join here on YouTube. It costs you just 1 coffee a month, but it supports me massively. Thank you very much for your support. Let's start with the market cap. PEPE currently has a market cap of $4.27 billion. That's not small for the mid-cap range, but I'd say there's still potential, for example, to catch up to Dogecoin, but Shiba Inu is definitely still ahead. Historically, PEPE has already seen some really high peaks, and that shows, especially when the meme coin season kicks off, the hype. PEPE could also benefit from that. Still, things are rather solid here. 6th, the circulating supply. As I said, almost 100% of the tokens are already in circulation. There's no hidden unlock risk, no token dump. That makes the project extremely transparent. And there's no future dilution in this area. And if you're interested in altcoins and want to know where you can actually get all the altcoins, because you can't always get every altcoin on every exchange, I always link the exchange where you can get the altcoin below in the pinned comment. So you don't have to search for it. And if you sign up on the exchange using my link, you'll even get a bonus. So it's a win-win situation for both of us. As I said, I've put everything in the pinned comment. Here's a strong number 10. Roadmap. It was very vague from the start. They did have phases with listings and social media hype, but there were no technical goals. To this day, a structured vision is still missing. That's why it only gets a 4. Now let's move on to the team. The team is anonymous. There have only been a few isolated reveals. There was also a scandal where former members diverted millions in tokens in 2023. What that means is the distrust towards PEPE has naturally been quite strong within the community. That's why. And that's also reflected in the rating. Only a 2. So what narrative does it actually have? The focus is of course on meme coins. And ultimately it's the internet culture of meme coins that's being addressed here. It's really more based on hype. Still, of course, it's a narrative that is important. 8. So what problem does it actually solve? Well, PEPE doesn't solve any specific problem. It's not a DeFi protocol, it's not a layer 1, it doesn't solve any scaling issues, it's pure speculation. That's why it only gets a 1 here. Yeah, sustainability, how does it look there? PEPE is, in the end, built on Ethereum. Ethereum is proof of stake, extremely energy efficient, which definitely earns it some points. Strength, 8 in this category. So, does PEPE actually have investors or capital? No major investors. They rely entirely, of course, on the community and exchanges. Only a 1 here, since there are no big investors involved. Next up is the competition. Direct competitors, Dogecoin, Shiba Inu. But both are significantly larger. However, PEPE has already surpassed them in certain trading volumes at times. By the way, if you want to see an analysis of Dogecoin, I'll link it up here for you. That's also super interesting. And I've already analyzed other altcoins as well, including meme coins actually. I recommend you check out the Desinix universe, take a look, it's extremely fascinating. In this category, a solid 7. So what about marketing? PEPE of course thrives on social media and viral energy. The marketing works because it's organic, meaning it's community-based. A strong 7? Next, how simple is the idea actually? It's super simple really, a meme coin. Everyone gets that. It's community-based. What do you actually think of PEPE? What do you think of the principle that it's really just based on the community? Write it in the comments, I'm really interested in your opinion on this. Here, a 10 because it's easy to understand. Next, long-term vision. Does PayPal actually have a long-term vision? No, not in the end. They've mentioned it before, meme takeover of course, but in the long run, that's pretty weak. Only a 3 here. Then are they deflationary? Max supply? The max supply is fixed due to deflationary burn mechanism, so in the end there will always be fewer and fewer. That's very positive, and as I said, there are already a lot of tokens on the market. A strong 9 in this area. Next, what about the fully diluted market cap? It's a 1-to-1 ratio because all tokens are already on the market. That's optimal. A strong 10 in this area. Next, what about liquidity? What about the volume? The trading volume is currently around 460 million with a market cap of just over 4 billion. That's a ratio of 0.107, so that's extremely strong. 10th then, how was the initial token distribution? It was a fair launch, but the initial distribution still wasn't perfect. Some large exchanges of course had huge portions and still hold huge portions. That's why it's only a 3 here. Then, what's extremely important? Who are the top coin holders? Yes, the top 100 hold 70% of the supply. That's very high and absolutely risky. That's why it's only a 4 in this area as well. Then what about the actual utility of the token? As mentioned, PEPE has no direct utility. In the end, it's just for community use, maybe for tipping, for example. It doesn't have good utility, it doesn't have any concrete value of use. That's only a 1. Then community. They have 500,000 holders. On top of that, very active social media. presence on X, on Telegram, on Reddit. The community is clear, and that's definitely a strength. By the way, if you're also a fan of PEPE, then leave a comment with the hashtag PEPE. Definitely show your presence. Write hashtag PEPE in the comments. Of course, that's good for the video's visibility, which in turn attracts new retail investors. And then what kind of events are coming up? As I said, they don't have an official roadmap. It's more about market cycles and maybe the development of Ethereum, but otherwise there's nothing new at the moment. Just two. You know what this analysis showed me today? PEPE is definitely not a normal altcoin. It's an extreme game between community and meme power. To sum up, the most important analysis points. In my 10 times ranking list, it only scores 53.6%. That's obviously extremely low, but it also shows again that it's just a meme coin. It's mainly based on hype. Still, it's worth highlighting that the tokenomics are positive in the sense that 100% of the tokens are already on the market and it's deflationary. The community is also extremely strong and the narrative is very viral. I mean, meme coins simply aren't based on numbers, data, or facts. And that's why, in terms of results, they're rather poor. But since they're focused on hype, they can still skyrocket in price. My clear assessment. PEPE is certainly not a long-term investment. It's more of a highly speculative play on the meme coin cycles. By the way, if you want to invest smarter and not just chase hype and actually bet on altcoins with potential up to 2030, then check out my 10 times Elite, the exclusive community. There, on the one hand, you get insight into my portfolio, you get a weekly market update, you always know what's going on. It's really the complete package if you want to find the best altcoins. I'll link the tutorial for you up here so you can get all the information you need. And you'll get the rest of the information in the pinned comment or in the video description. Do you know what's so fascinating about PEPE? That the coin has no utility, it has no roadmap, yet still hundreds of thousands believe in this meme coin. And that's exactly what makes the price scenarios so exciting. When we talk about price scenarios, it's always when the meme coin hype really takes off. Then, of course, money flows back into meme coins like PEPE. Let's move on to the bear scenario. Here, it would be more like the meme coin energy is fading, but also Bitcoin is weakening and the overall market is struggling. These are price scenarios that aren't so strong. Here, maybe a 2 times or 3 times could be possible. But now let's move on to the normal scenario. The overall market is growing massively. PayPal ultimately keeps its place in its meme coin universe and continues to gain a bit of market share. It's not exactly a huge miracle, but it could be enough for a 4-fold increase. That would already be exciting. But now let's move on to the optimistic scenario. Imagine the next meme coin wave is coming. Social media is exploding, communities keep growing, and PEPE might even take market share from Dogecoin or Shiba. Then an 8 to 10 times increase would be possible. Now let's move on to the very optimistic scenario. Now the question is, what will happen? What even crazier things could happen? If PEPE really becomes the meme of the decade and everyone truly wants to jump back into meme coin season, then we're really talking about scenarios of 20 to 30 times gains. Now let's return to the Vision 2030. Imagine the entire crypto market grows massively by 2030. Mainstream. Everyone is coming back into the crypto market. PEPE establishes itself as an extreme meme coin. Number 1, overtaking Dogecoin, overtaking Shiba Inu. Then we're talking about prices of 0.001 cents, which would be massive. But now let's move on to the chart analysis. So what am I actually saying right now? Would I get in right now? I would not get in. Here's my chart analysis. Yes, hello and welcome as always to my chart analysis. Back to the very beginning, what's important is that I'm a long-term trader, meaning I follow the indicator on TradingView. I always look at whether we're in the overbought or oversold area. A quick example, here in this area for instance, when we're in the oversold area, it's shown by the green dotted indicator. And those are the specific points where I see entry opportunities. In other words, I would have invested here, or invested here using dollar cost averaging. And when we're in the overbought area, like up here for example, here, those would be points, for example here, where I would exit or take partial profits. What does it look like for PEPE at the moment? Basically, you can see here that we had a pretty good entry point in this area. here as well. Here you really could have used dollar cost averaging. Here, and then. There was also a very slight entry point here. But as you can see, we weren't yet in the oversold area, so I wouldn't have invested there. But at the moment, it looks more like we're pushing upwards again. For me, this wouldn't be an entry point right now, because it's going up again. It would be more like if we really start to push here, if the altcoin season really kicks off, as many are saying. Then it will probably happen when the Federal Reserve slowly keeps lowering interest rates, but usually it happens 1 or 2 months after that. And that's why I would wait for now, and at least at the moment, I don't see any entry point here. By the way, if you want to see updates from me, for example, when I enter the market, as I said, I have a clear data-driven approach. Dollar cost averaging, really long term, then check out the 10 times elite, because every Sunday I do an update there, a market update, and I regularly post how I actually approach the market when I enter, when I exit. That way you get all the information, the complete package. Take a look, all the info is in the video description. And if you want to see the analysis of Dogecoin now, also to make a comparison, I've linked it for you here. Super exciting, especially of course always in relation to Elon Musk. What will Elon Musk do next in the future? Enjoy the analysis and see you in a bit.